Two strangers walked into a bar, and they walked out with their own radio show.
I've never been with a man before.
Looks like I'm the boss now.
He's Derek.
The world is your oyster. Just shit on it.
She's Romaine.
I've got a handful of shit.
It's Derek and Romaine.
2.0, bitches.
Well, hello, hags. It's me, Derek Hartley.
Patterson.
We're Derek and Romaine, and this is our combination canceliversary show and holiday special for Labor Day.
Woohoo!
After
we stuff a whole bunch of stuff into one little thing.
Or we're always behind the 8 ball, and then we have to just do our holiday cards over Valentine's Day because we didn't get our act together in time.
Well, or it could be that.
So we are doing a combination audio and video show from our brand new Studio B. And Romaine has been working diligently all year long, building out this studio space. And Romaine, how's it going?
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with this particular space.
I have the same relationship with you.
Well, thank you, Derek. You're so sweet. No, I have really enjoyed working on Studio B. It has been one of the more challenging projects for me as an engineer since we've started this whole adventure. But I also hate Studio B because it has been incredibly challenging, a very steep learning curve for me with the difference in the technology between video equipment and audio equipment. Luckily, I am someone who finds the smartest people and makes them work for me. And so I have found some really great people to help me along the way. And I'm really glad that the studio is complete.
You mean abuse and exploit when you're saying that?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it like that. I try to think of it. I try to spin it in a more positive way.
I know you do.
Yes, thanks. And you always just screw that up. But no, I really like this studio space. It serves a lot of purposes. We can use it both as the video studio and as an audio studio for all the shows we have here. I will tell you. So in the last couple of years, I know Derek and I are going to talk a little bit about some of the growth that we've had, but.
Where?
We've added a lot of shows.
Like on our bodies?
Oh, no. We've added a lot of shows, and almost every single show has expressed interest in this particular studio.
Because everyone is so telegenic who works here.
That's exactly what it is.
Everyone's camera ready
so
all the time.
All the time. But no, they all are very excited at what this technology can do and how it will help us connect with our listeners even more. So I'm excited to see... how once everything is completely done and working the way it should, it's still not there yet, but it's close. Once it is, I'm really excited to see what's going to come from this studio. Like what kind of projects are going to happen.
Do you mind if I make fun of you for a moment?
Go ahead.
So the very first show that we did, very first day, do you remember? Now, we have played the first 2 minutes of our first show.
Like back in 2003
Yeah, 2003.
It was?
2003.
Yeah.
April
That's a long time ago.
April 14th, 2003. Now, we haven't, we used to play just the first 2 minutes of our first show.
Yeah, it was horrible.
What was the secret word?
Excited.
That was you just now.
Well,
We're talking about that. You said excited or exciting 47
it's
times.
Who I am. There are some things that haven't changed in 16 years. Sue me.
Yeah, everything about you says excited.
Yeah, wow.
So we, after our show, our old show got canceled in 2015.
Yeah.
Romaine and I did a we got canceled video that we posted on YouTube, and
It
that
was
because we
sad.
didn't know what we were gonna do.
We didn't. We were like, hey, everybody, it's us. Remember your old friends, Derek and Romaine?
They used to be excited, and now they're unemployed. So anyway, we did that, and then afterward, every year, we have done a canceliversary video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so it has been an opportunity for us to just catch everybody up on
We like to
how,
remind you that we're not dead.
right, how far we've come in
Yeah.
a year. Now, previously we did it over YouTube, where Romaine and I would both be on from home, and we would do it on the weekend. And since we had this video studio, I had the brilliant idea, like, hey, we should do our canceliversary video from Studio B to really show how far we've come.
And we really have.
And since we thought the studio would be done in April, it would be, no problem. We'll be able to do this in June. Piece of cake. So we're a little late because now it's September. But the point is that this will serve as our annual canceliversary video.
Yeah.
And we are here in the studio space. So if you're listening to the show.
Can we call it can we stop calling it the canceliversary? Can we
What do you wanna call it?
The rebirth of Derek and Romaine, or I don't know, like the Phoenix Rises. I don't know. Can we call it something exciting?
God, that sounds awful. Phoenix Rising.
I want exciting, Derek. I don't want to. We were canceled.
Is there
Wah, wah.
is there some kind of vomitorium can around here for
No,
me with your
no, I'm
Phoenix Rising?
We were like a phoenix that rose from the ashes. Look at us now. I mean, look at us.
I mean, they can actually look at us. So if you're listening through our regular show, if you're a Derek and Romaine subscriber at derekandromaine.com or dnrstudios.com, thank you for your money.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you very
But
much.
if
Tell
you're
your friends.
if you're listening there, you can see this video. We'll post it on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook for Derek and Romaine. But if you're watching us on video,
Hey.
as I wave to the camera, and you can see us. And if you're not already a subscriber to Derek and Romaine with our daily show,
I honestly don't know what you're waiting for.
I'm embarrassed for you, frankly. This is my embarrassed for you face. So there you go.
I agree with that, though, because honestly, the one thing I will say that has amazed me over the last few years with us doing the show this in our new way is how many people, don't even realize we're back. I don't know what rock you're living under because we post all the time. We are always talking about our listeners are always talking about us. I don't know where you're at. So you need to crawl out of underneath the rock you're under. But also, I'm amazed at how many people are like, I love you, but I don't think I know how to make this technology work. Honestly, my daughter can do it. And if she could do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. It's not rocket science.
Well, if I could just play the devil's advocate here, sweetie, your daughter is probably smarter than you.
No, she's not. But even then, even if that's the case, I know how to do it. So let's pretend that Derek is right, that Romy is smarter than me.
Hypothetically.
Even I know how to figure out how to listen to our show in my car, on my phone, on my laptop. There's lots of ways for you to listen to our show. I can download it. I can stream it live. I can do all kinds of things. And I can hear the show. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. And our listener, Tyler, made some videos that show
they're very
you
helpful.
exactly how to do it. So if you're a video person, you can follow Tyler's how-to videos. We'll post links below, and then you'll be able to follow Tyler's how-to videos to help you to get set up if you are not already listening to us through a phone or on the go. Okay, so since this is our canceliversary-ish show, I thought I would catch people up on what has happened since June of 2018. So people watching on video can see that we're obviously not at home. We're in a physical studio in New York City. In June of last year, we were in the process of moving into this new location.
Oh, yeah. God, I forgot about it. It feels like it's
See,
been so long.
This is why we do the canceliversary shows, because it's easy to forget how far we've come.
We were getting ready to go on a trip to Europe.
Right.
And we were moving at pretty much the exact same time, which, by the way, was my personal worst nightmare because I'm the one responsible for setting up studios and making sure the technology's working. And we didn't just have our show to worry about. We also had Taylor Strecker, who was on the network. We had a couple other shows. And so we had to figure out how to do this move in time before we went on this crazy European cruise. And I will tell you, it was perhaps the most stressful time we've ever had since 2.0 started because it was a lot of moving pieces. We had this brand new space, which we were having essentially customized just for us. They were building out, they were putting in special windows and doors and things like that to kind of prep this space for us. And we were trying to get all the technology moved over from the other location. We actually physically ended up doing two moves. We did one where we moved in a temporary studio, set it all up.
Which was in here, in this room.
Which was in this room. And then we moved in, once that was working, all the shows transitioned over to using the temporary studio. And we moved in our permanent studio into Studio A, which is in another room. And we put all of that in. Once that was in, then we left to go on vacation, hoping and praying that nothing would burn down while we were gone.
And did it?
It didn't. It really didn't. I was shocked, though. I mean, honestly, it was surprising. And then this room that we're in now kind of was, I mean, it was set up as a temporary studio, which we used a lot, but it really was kind of also just a catch-all room as we were moving. We just threw stuff into this room.
It was like a storage room.
It was a storage room for a while. It was all kinds of things for a while. It was our meeting room. We did a lot of stuff in this room. And then at the start of this year, we finally really focused our attention into getting this studio set up as Studio B, our video studio. And so that really started in January and has gone on until September. That's how long it has taken. It's been a long process.
It has. So our trip in July of last year was our Better Off Med cruise. We went to the Mediterranean, and
my favorite cruise we've ever done so far, by the way. And it was brutal. It was a brutal.
What a great
trip.
way to sell it.
No.
Join us for a brutal time.
It was amazing because it was my first time to Europe.
Right.
So I saw a lot of things I'd never seen before, and really, I mean, it was incredible the things we got to see and experience. But what was brutal about it is we were there during a heat wave in Europe, and so it was very, very hot. And I was one of those people that wanted to cram everything into every single day.
Of course.
So every day I was on an excursion out in the sun for like 6 to 8 hours, and I'm fat and I'm slow, and now I'm like a sweaty pig in Europe.
That's so attractive.
Going through these long excursions. Oh, it was brutal, but it was amazing. Like the things I got to see, the food I got to eat, the listeners that I got to hang out with. Positano. I mean, there were so many things about that trip that were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so it was a stressful, like this is the thing, we have a lot of high highs and low lows all at the same time around here, as the listeners know from our long time with the show.
That's our dramatic storytelling.
Oh, we're so dramatic. So then we come back, we have the new studio space, and then almost immediately we turned around and we went to Dollywood for Great Smoky Weekend. We're going back again in a few days from now, September 20th through the 23rd. We're going to be back in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. For our second Great Smoky Weekend, and people can check it out at greatsmokyweekend.com. Still time to get tickets, you hags.
That's right.
But we have lots of fun listener events going on. We're going to be hanging out at the Dollywood Park, and if you're not really an amusement park person, don't worry. It's
you
mostly
don't have to even ride the rides. You can just go and enjoy the amazing food at Dollywood's park. Like, it's incredible.
All the food is so amazing in Pigeon Forge. That was a real surprise.
My heart.
That was a surprise for us, is how good the food was. And Dollywood, I think, was voted one of the best theme park food in America. So it's pretty good. We didn't know what to expect because it was our first time out, but it was really fun. We met new people there. We had new listeners who showed up that we had never met before. We had a lot of fun with them. And honestly, it was a great time.
It really was.
Yeah. And then after we got back, once we were settled into this space, we started rolling out a lot of new shows. And people might have noticed, if you go to DNRstudios.com,
yeah, we did.
We have been bam, rolling out shows pretty consistently ever since. So Rob Shooter with his Naughty But Nice show was the first. And I Love My Wife, Ashlyn Salzano with her You Know What I Mean show. And Matthew Camp with Happy Campers with 6.
We have Tech Asylum.
That's right, on Tuesday nights.
What else do we have?
Laura Haywood interviews
Haywood,
Mondays and Wednesdays. And then most recently, Mark Thompson joined us with his political show every morning.
Yeah, we've added a lot of programming. And this is something that we've been very passionate about for a while. At least, I mean, I'll speak for myself on this. I love the idea of expanding the types of voices that we can offer in this space. We have this incredible space that we have to utilize. And so by just saying, hey, to these people we really like and we think are great talent, come on in, utilize this space, create the show you want to create, and let's make it available to our audience. I mean, I think the audience has really enjoyed it, but for me, giving voices to people who I know have important things to say is really one of the best aspects of 2.0 for me. I love seeing the hosts in this space. I love seeing them interact with one another, and they share stories and they spitball ideas for their shows, and just there's a real energy that happens in this space that's unlike anything I've experienced since being in radio. I mean, kind of in the early days of the old facility, there was some of that, but it really feels alive here, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Oh God, it's alive.
It is alive.
Now it's like a horror movie.
Oh God, whatever.
So people can check out all of the shows that we have going on here, because we have a couple of different ways that people can do it. So if you subscribe to any of the shows in the DNR Studios network, you have access to the Meta Player, and the Meta Player is a multi-show player that has all of the different shows we have going on here at DNR Studios included in them. Everyone has their own station that's on 24/7.
And it's an online player at DNRstudios.com. So you go on there, there's a little player there, you press press play, or you choose what channel you want to listen to, and that's how you can listen to them.
Yeah. So you can, if you're a Derek and Romaine subscriber at derekandromaine.com, just try out the Meta Player and check out the different stations that are there, and you can see how it is. And then on DNRstudios.com, we now have a multi-show subscription. So if, because the Meta Player really only allows you to live stream the current show of each of the other shows in the network. But if you want to download all the shows and take them on the go and everything, you can get a multi-show subscription, DNR Plus, at DNRstudios.com. And then you can add all of the shows in the network to your smartphone and take them with you on the go, listen to them anywhere that you can listen to music or podcasts. So
yeah, we really,
it's really
the
great.
DNR Studios Plus subscription really is for those people out there, especially our listeners who really miss the days of OutQ, when there were a lot of shows, a lot of different voices, and you wanted to be able to have something to listen to throughout the day. Now you kind of have that capability with DNR Studios Plus, and you can download those shows. So if you're going to the gym, you can download those shows, take them to the gym with you, take them on a trip with you, wherever you need them, take them to work with you. They're right there. It's easy to go. You don't even have to stream it because it's already been downloaded. It's really pretty convenient.
Look at us. We're such a go-to-the-gym demographic.
We're really not. But our listeners like to go to the gym, I know, because they have muscles and I don't. I'm just saying.
So even though we're in Studio B, which is for bitch, step back, we are, I brought in our shade bells. Romaine and I both have shade bells. So
that's mine.
When there's something shady, you'll hear the bell go. And if I ask Romaine a question, if she knows the answer, she just chimes in with her answer. Romaine, are you a cheap slut?
Yes.
Okay. That is a correct answer. Okay.
I just told my therapist that this morning. I said, therapist lady, I'm such a slut. I told her that because Iris wasn't there, so I felt like I could be a little more myself.
Wait, you went to couples therapy alone?
Well, there was a reason. Iris had to stay home because we had some people coming over to the house to fix some things.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
I
right.
had to go to therapy alone. She goes, I think you need therapy more this week than I do, which, by the way, is not a lie. So I went alone.
Did you want me to hold your hand, sweetie?
Can you please?
I did.
Wait, no.
Boundaries. Me too.
That's right. Honk, honk.
I already honked her earlier this week.
Stop touching my tits. It's so
Okay.
inappropriate.
Oh, look, when I did that, it made my chair go down. Okay, well, anyway, it's live. We're live. It is video and audio. So now, normally when we're doing just the audio show, nobody, unless they're in the live chat room, can really see what the hell we're
now you
doing.
can
And
see it.
now I'm more conscious of like, what's
that's
happening with my
right.
hands and my face. Okay.
Whatever. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so we have had a lot of big changes around here,
Yeah.
and we have more big stuff coming up. We're going back to Dollywood, as I said, for Great Smoky Weekend in a couple of weeks. And we have our Encore Love Cruise that's coming up in February.
Yes,
We're
but
leaving.
what about the one before that? We're going to Hawaii.
Oh, that's
Can't
right. We're
wait
going to
for
Hawaii.
that. I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I need a luau skirt and some coconuts. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. What? No?
You're going to need some XXL coconuts
Oh,
for.
you don't have to be like that. You're so mean.
Oh, what are you
Anyway,
going to do? Put tiny pasties over those?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm ready to go to a luau. I'm ready to get laid. I'm ready to do a luau. I am ready. That's all I'm saying. You may not be ready, but I am, and I can't wait. All right, so we're going to Hawaii, but then we have the Encore cruise.
But I will say this. So, we do all these DNR cruises and all these events, and I really am just checking a list of various places that I want to have Romaine go and experience because she's never been.
Wonderful. I fully
And,
support.
she had never been to Europe, and I was like, you know what, Romaine, I think you'll like this. And then we went, and she had a blast.
I did.
And I know she's going to love Hawaii. We're going to have a great time there.
Can't wait.
That's a little soon for
And
people.
I'm leaving the wife and child at home, so I know I'm going to have fun.
It's really more of a place for expensive sluts than cheap sluts because Hawaii ain't cheap. But anyway.
It's all good.
So we're doing our Encore Love Cruise coming up in February. We're sailing out of Miami and heading
I can't
off
wait
to
for that one. That one's going to be huge, right?
Yeah, it is. We have.
And we're going to the Puerto Rico.
We're going to Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rico.
Well,
Really,
I
girl?
was trying to remember where we were going.
We're going to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we're going to Puerto
but
Rico.
But it's not the Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I know.
Some
But
things
I do
never
like
change.
that we are going to Puerto Rico. They could use the tourist money, and because they've been recovering ever since that horrible hurricane that took
Hurricane
everything
Maria.
out. So I am
Maria.
excited to go there because I like supporting a local economy, and I think this is a great way to do that.
Well, that's why we went to Pigeon Forge for our Great Smoky Weekend
after those horrible fires. Yeah.
fires in Sevier County. So we do try to incorporate a giving back element of what we do. We try. It's in our ethos, I guess. But we do have another new cruise that we are going to be in now.
Oh,
Oh, actually, before we get to the new cruise,
Oh,
because we have for video people, we have a video clue that will go up behind
yeah.
us on the screen. So if you're listening only to the audio and you want your video clue, you'll have to go and watch the video, and you'll see it for yourself. But before we do that, we have a land-based trip that we're doing July of next year.
Yes, we're going to Puerto Vallarta, and we're teaming up. This is the first time we've done this, and I think this is going to be a really cool adventure because we have teamed up with Olivia and with Our Family Vacations, and we are essentially taking over an entire resort, the Hard Rock Resort in Puerto Vallarta. And so it's going to be just a whole lot of gay people. And we are going to have our own dedicated group amongst those gay people. So kind of like when we do the cruises and it's a whole lot of straight people and us, this time it's going to be a whole lot of other gay people and us. And I think I suspect that our listeners are going to bring in new members of the cult. They're going to go to all those other gay people and be like, why aren't you listening to DNR? You're missing out. They're going to be evangelical and wonderful in this way. And I also suspect that these other two groups aren't going to know what hit them.
Yeah, I think that's true.
When the DNR bitches roll up into a joint, they kind of take over, and we're always the most fun. And I think even amongst other gay people, we are still going to be the most fun. So I suspect it is going to be one of our more fun trips.
Yeah, so that's our, it's called Land Ho.
Land Ho! Because it's a land-based, you get it, land.
Yeah, it's land-based, and our listeners are hosts.
Yeah.
And some of our hosts. No names, but Derek and Romaine. Anyway, so Land Ho is July 5th through the 10th at the Hard Rock Vallarta. And you can get the information at derekandromaine.com. And then in the fall of 2020, we have a mystery adventure that's going on. As I wave behind my hand.
Derek can I just tell you, because Derek and I have a lot of meetings where we discuss what we're going to do next, right? We do a lot of planning and we plan way out in advance. And Derek goes, I have these trips here. One of these I think is what we're going to do. And so I looked him over and then we started spitballing ideas. And we came up with the theme for this cruise. And we're like, oh, this might be one of our more brilliant themes we've ever had. And you guys are going to love it. Like, this is going to be the best costume parties we've ever had. There's just going to be a lot of theme going into this particular cruise, unlike anything we've ever done before. And I guarantee the listeners are going to lose their minds.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we put a lot of thought into this, and sometimes the pieces all seem to come together, and this looks good to us. So we'll be announcing it in September, and you'll be able to find all that information at derekandromaine.com. And we have
have that little hint for you.
Yeah, we also have a new website, dnrtravel.com, where we're starting to put all of our travel destination stuff on there. So you'll be able to find the information on our regular website and on dnrtravel.com. All right. Well, Romaine.
Yes, Derek.
Since it is the holiday weekend, and this is still a regular old Derek and Romaine show,
yeah, so we shouldn't just keep
some
talking about ourselves and how wonderful we are. Okay.
Well, I mean, we could do that, but I don't want people to wander away.
People. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so we got in some fan mail from our listeners. Since the show is actually on a Monday, I thought we would do some Monday mailbag. And also, sometimes the people send us fan mail. Romaine never even sees it or responds. And then it'll sit in my box for like a month. And I feel
better in your box than in mine.
I feel bad about it. Well, speaking of your box or mine, here's our first question. It's for you, Romaine.
Okay.
This is from our listener, Steve. Steve says, hi, Romaine. I am still a bit behind in episodes. I'm currently listening to the August 13th episode entitled, My Nut is Precious.
Indeed it is.
We really do have fun coming up with the titles of our shows, don't we? That's the number one reason to subscribe, just to see what the fuck the titles of our shows are going to be.
True.
So I apologize if if you've already said something about this.
Okay.
However, I was wondering if anyone has written to you regarding the Eclipse toy you were talking about on the anal awareness segment with the person from Dallas Novelties. If it is still available, I would love to try it out. I am very inexperienced with anal play other than sticking my penis in my husband's ass. I'm sorry. That should be a content alert, everyone. That was some adult content. If you have children in the room,
you saying fuck wasn't a...
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
well,
okay.
if you have children in the room, hop in a time machine and warn yourself from a minute ago. However, says Steve, I'm interested in trying out these toys as a way to see if this is something I would enjoy.
Fair enough.
If it's already spoken for, I totally understand. Thanks for everything that you do, as the show really is amazing. Don't take it from me. It's on a piece of paper. And I look forward to hearing the topics and stories both of you share daily. Love you both, Steve. P.S. If this is a duplicate message, I apologize. I swear I sent it over the weekend, but in looking at my sent email, I can't find it. Okay, well, there you go. Steve, Romaine, what's your answer for Steve?
So I can't remember if it was Steve or if it was somebody else, but I did send this particular toy, the Eclipse that he was talking about, to a listener. Someone sent me an email and said, hey, I want that. Can I have that? And I said, sure. And I packed it all up nice. I put a little note in there and I sent it off in the mail. So I don't know if it was Steve or not. It may not have been. I can't remember. You know, I get emails. Some I respond to, some I don't.
Most.
Some I actually pack up a package and send something off in the mail. But generally speaking, if you ask me nicely, I will try to accommodate whatever your request is.
If she remembers that you emailed and she gets it.
Sometimes, yeah.
No.
Sometimes you have to email me more than once. Don't look at me like that. I know. Should I read the next one? Let's move on.
If you want to.
Okay. I think this one's about me too. Dear Derek and Romaine, over the weekend, I had a wonderful time hanging out with cheap lesbian Brad. Can we just call him Cheap Brad?
We do.
Yeah. Brad's husband, Xander, Brad's mom, Tyler from NorCal, Joe and Brian from
Even more Northern
even
California.
more NorCal, and Scott from Sacramento. We had our lowbrow listener meetup in Sacramento on Saturday.
There's a beer hall called Lowbrow.
Oh, okay.
BRAU.
Okay.
You know, like Let It Be Low and Brow. Remember that?
No. Thanks, Brad, for putting it all
Whoa.
together. Yeah, thanks, Brad. That's nice of you.
It was nice of Brad. How uncharacteristically. Just kidding.
I know.
He's very
Brad's
nice.
mom, though, lovely. Really like
Yeah.
her. On my way down, I was playing catch up with the show. I was disheartened to hear Romaine's comments concerning us conservative gays. There are a few of us conservative gays in the midst of the listenership. You know, those of us that like lower taxes, less regulation, pro-gun, and enjoy freedom. There are pro-gay and gay conservatives running for office. Your run-of-the-mill Democratic pro-gay candidate tends to be very liberal. This is true. May sometimes be a socialist, Bernie, AOC, want more taxes to pay for social programs, anti-gun, and push for questionable policies like carbon taxes. Carbon tax? What the hell kind of Ponzi scheme is that? I'd love to hear a debate among Derek and Romaine and a log cabin Republican. Aaron Schock, maybe? Too soon? Richard, I don't even know how you say his
Richard
last-
Grinnell. He
Grinnell.
is
Yeah, I
the
don't know who
U.S.
he is.
ambassador to Germany.
I could care less. What about a log cabin Republican executive, Jerry Ann Henry? Didn't she just leave because she's pissed off because they endorsed Trump?
Yeah.
See, I pay attention.
Well, she's unemployed. She might have some free time on her
Maybe.
hands to join us.
I think if DNR is going to have political discourse, bring on a prominent pro-gay conservative. That is all. Have a wonderful day. Tim, a.k.a. Tom. All right, here's what because this was really addressed to me, so I want to start with this.
Oh, okay.
Let me start by saying this. If you're a conservative Republican gay, I don't understand you. Now, I'm not saying you can't be that way. I'm just saying I don't get it. I don't get it. I may never get it, but then again, I also don't understand some of those crazy religious people like Scientologists. I don't understand them either. I think they're a little out of their minds, kind of the way I say the gay conservatives. That being said,
This is the comparison.
hold on. That being said, I don't want you to change. If that is who you are, then be who you are. If you would like to have some kind of, what's the word you used here? Discourse. If you would like to have some discourse on DNR, well, that's very easy to do. You pick up the phone, you dial 844 Talk DNR during our live show, and you can talk to us and you can share your opinions. I won't hang up on you. I'm not another gay that does that. I
What the
am
hell is
Romaine,
that?
and I will take your call and I will listen to what you have to say. Now, I may not agree with you, and I may tell you to your voice that I think you're a fucking crazy person, but that's okay. You be you, I'll be me. That being said, I do have, believe it or not, I know it's shocking, I actually have some conservative points of view. Not many, but I have a few. For instance, I think that guns are perfectly fine. I don't necessarily think that people need assault rifles or magazines that can hold 5 million bullets, but I don't think anyone should take away your guns. I have a gun. I like my gun. I feel safer with my gun. So I don't want anyone to come and take my gun away any more than I want them to take your gun away. So see, we have something in common. Not everything I disagree with, but I do disagree with a lot of your points of view. And that is okay. I'm still going to treat you with respect, and I hope you will treat me with respect, and we can all live happily ever after.
Well, you don't technically treat them with respect.
Really?
But
I don't? How
no.
am I being disrespectful?
I think people can go back and listen to some classics from the show.
Listen, I'm simply sharing my point of view.
I understand
it's
that.
my show. I can have
I
my
didn't
point of
say,
view.
but what I'm saying is not that you weren't sharing your point of view. I'm saying it
Not
wasn't always
disrespectful.
respectful.
Fuck you. You don't know.
Anyway, I do know. I'm sitting right next to
Oh,
you.
you don't even pay attention.
I do pay attention.
you?
Sometimes I'm horrified. But anyway,
Yeah, sometimes I am too.
but to Tim, a.k.a. Tom's point about this, some of these people would be hard for us to get to. Aaron Schock is very busy being thirsty on Instagram. Richard Grinnell is in Germany. And Jerry Ann Henry is unemployed and maybe unavailable. However, I will say this. Some of the listeners like it when we talk politics on the show,
Most
but
of
it's
them hate
not
it.
for everyone.
And we don't do it very often because
We don't.
frankly it's boring.
Let's face it, our demographic on this show is hot, sexy people. And
I do like that.
not us. Well, it can be us. But
Ew.
really, don't. What is wrong with
Did
you?
you just wink at the camera?
Maybe I did. So anyway, but I want to say this. So I want to bridge this gap because I think we do have conservative listeners, and I respect that they continue to listen to our show despite Romaine's many liberal screeds against them. But
Oh, like you aren't.
I don't screed. Also, people want to hear from especially hot dudes. So I want you to know that I have reached out to porn star Jake Porter, who is a notable conservative but also super hot porn star. And he is excited and anxious to be on our show and talk about what it's like to be a conservative gay porn star. So I feel like I am delivering on brand here for the listeners,
like
giving
I'm
them
gonna
what they
take
want.
A nap on that episode of Derek and Romaine.
Why would you do that?
I don't want to talk to some dumbass.
He's not a dumbass.
You don't know that.
I've seen.
Most porn stars are not exactly the brightest bulbs.
I don't know that he's stupid.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out.
I've had interactions with him on Twitter. We follow each other on Twitter. We've had interactions.
I'm going to quiz him. I'm
Great.
going to prepare for his interview. I am going to come up with some very important political questions, and I'm going to quiz him and see what he knows.
Well, I hope you
I
thank.
won't know the answers, but I'm going to see if he knows the answers.
Well, I hope you thank him for his service on SeanCody.com. Okay. No, actually, I do believe he was in the military. And not just on militaryholesforyou.com. Here's our next email from our listeners in the Monday mailbag. Hi, Derek, and then in parentheses, and Romaine.
well,
I know.
Afterthought. Hi.
Time shifting to the discussion of the movie Adam. This is
Okay.
an independent movie that is out. I was able to see the film as part of Outfest this summer in Los Angeles. It's a charming movie, and I really liked it. And actually, it was quite helpful for me in understanding some of the nuances of being a trans person. The straight main character really has to go on a journey of understanding to keep up the central charade, and it's sensitively done, at least from this middle-aged gay person's point of view. I wouldn't know what that's like.
Uh-huh.
And it's a funny, endearing little movie. Not angsty or heavy in any way. Anyways, always a plus. To be honest, it wasn't one of my first choices to see at the festival, but I'm so glad I saw it. Thanks for talking about this film. I hope folks get to see it and that the boycott doesn't actually happen, says Skip in Los Angeles. P.S.
This is
it says probably not for air.
air.
I can say this. I hope things go okay with your mother's housing drama. I was able to give her the name of a local realtor to hook her up with some options. So many people who have become friends with my mother on Facebook. And
Because she likes to hang out with California listeners.
well, my mom, she's coming to Great Smoky Weekend in a couple of weeks, and she's gone on a couple of cruises. And I have tried to insulate my family from the shenanigans that go on in the Derek and Romaine community. But my
I've
mother,
done a much better job of it than you.
yeah, well, my mother is not afraid to spill over in
she's
this.
embraced it and she loves it.
Yeah, this boundaryless place. Well, anyway, the LA listeners have honestly taken my mother under their wing, and they have been taking her out to dinner and movies and everything else. My mom
It's wonderful.
She's loving it. And but my mom did have a situation where she basically got like a short notice eviction from the house that she's been leasing for, I think, 6 years now. And it was like, oh, you have 60 days to get out. So it was kind of a tense thing there, but my mom actually found her dream house. And actually, right now, while this is going on, she's probably listening to me in the car while she's moving boxes back and forth because they are moving this weekend.
Wow, that's fast.
I know, it was really fast. So, but it's great. I've seen pictures of the house. My mom is thrilled.
Awesome.
They have a dog and a cat, and my sister's kids are in high school. She didn't want to move them out of the school district. It was a lot to find a place that was big enough for it, easily afford, and they could take pets
But they
and
found
the
the
whole
perfect
thing.
fit.
But they found just the right thing. So thank you to the listeners who were concerned about that, and Skip for your suggestion. It was all very helpful. All right. Our last piece of fan mail, very quickly, because we're short on time. From Ray in Germany. I'll read it because Romaine's not
Okay.
good at reading out loud.
You're right. I hate
Ray in Germany with 3 things I want to share. First, there's a song called Juice that's climbing the charts in Europe, and I thought the DNR listeners would, especially on DNR Turbin's dance floor. Oh, the juice is loose. I hope to be dancing with DNR listeners someday soon. Second, I time shifted a few weeks ago and heard you raving about the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Finally, I just knew that you would love that show.
I did too.
So I feel compelled to ask you to give the Gilmore Girls another try.
No.
I know that you were underwhelmed by it before, but it has the same writers, producers, and directors as Mrs. Maisel, and I can see the beginning of Mrs. Maisel and the Gilmore Girls. Okay, it's an older show now, but it holds up, except for when they use pagers, fax machines, and a new gadget called the internet. My roommate Mike also tried it, and he did not enjoy the Gilmore Girls either, and loves Mrs. Maisel. And B, I had a 13th birthday party at Farrell's Old Fashioned Ice Creams parlor, and I totally blocked it out until I heard it on DNR. So thanks. They made me eat something called the pig trough. I belched at the memory. Yeah. Ray, you're in Germany. I'm pretty sure you've been to the pig trough since then.
As I say, I think I know a few listeners who've been eating the pig trough.
Thank you. Auf Wiedersehen, says Ray. Although technically it should be Auf Wiederhören because he listens to our show. P.S. I think Amy Sherman Palladino would make a fabulous guest on DNR. I think so, too.
Well,
She
there you
does
go.
a great job on the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel show. And there you go. I thought we did a great job on this show, Romaine.
You know, Derek, I think we do a great job on every show. Honestly, I mean,
who's better than
we're
us?
real
Nobody,
professionals
really.
around this joint.
I mean, the most professional.
Yeah, I just want to say this before we wrap up. I want to thank all of our listeners who have been
Thick and
DNR
thin.
2.0 adventure.
Yes, thank you.
You know, we certainly have grown a lot in the last 4 years. And the show is I'm having more fun than I've had in forever. I really love coming to work right now.
Are you excited?
I am excited. Thank you. I love it. It makes me feel good every time I come to work. And a lot of that is thanks to the listeners. You know, we've been able to do this amazing internship listeners. It really has been a really 2.0, and I hope the listeners are enjoying it as much as we are. And if you're not enjoying it yet, I really don't know what you're waiting for.
That's right. So thanks so much for supporting our show and subscribing at DerekandRomaine.com. Or thanks for watching our video if you're watching on video or listening as a subscriber. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, we will.
Can't get enough of the show? Follow them on Twitter at DNR Show or like them on Facebook.
And don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe to DNR 2.0 at DerekandRomaine.com.